Hey, this is Stacia, and we're going to take a look at a training game I played on Lichess.org. So I'm on a mission to get to 2000. I want to rise like a phoenix, like specifically that phoenix on the left. Yeah, but it's been rough as of late. I've been losing a few games. I think I may have faced a cheater one game, and that sort of threw me off track, I think. But okay. This game I played at 2200 on Lichess. Now, to me that means like probably USCF expert level, like 2000 USCF. So, definitely a worthy opponent. I played e4. Let's get going. Okay, here we go. Have not analyzed this game at all yet. Yeah, and I was not happy to see, well, at first I was like, oh, it's a perk defense. But after knight c3, they can play this move e5, and now we're in what is called the Philidor defense, which, is kind of an annoying opening. Black elects to lock in the dark square bishop. But this setup is extremely solid, and they can even go for the black lion, which my opponent does, with knight to d7. So let's see what we can learn in the opening really quickly. Yeah, I decided knight f3 was probably the best move, and it was. Ooh, I see that Magnus Carlsen won a game against Caruana in this position in 2014. That's pretty cool. Okay, so knight bd7. I do believe this is sort of the black lion setup, and I know that there's some poison for black. Yeah, and I was even really strongly considering, instead of knight f3, I was really considering just taking on e5, mostly because I'm playing a higher rated opponent. Like, I think if you do this, and you trade queens, oops, I can trade queens. White's like probably a little better here, and because we get tempo on that, and well, a higher rated opponent is going to have a hard time winning. I mean, really, you're going to fight for a draw as black and have to trick white to win. So I really consider going to this. Yeah, and all the results that I can see in the database. Wow. Although if you go, like, this is pretty informative, actually. Like, if you look at the master games, it's like mostly draws, but wins for both sides too. But if you go to the Lichess database, there's barely any draws. So that just goes to show you that just because we think it's drawn, because masters draw it, at my level, no, it's not drawn. It's all three results are possible, and my opponent would try to outplay me there. So I actually probably correctly decided not to go for that and went for knight f3, the best move. And after this, I really thought I totally forgot my opening prep. I knew that rook g1 is a move, and I wasn't sure if it was here. I think maybe it is here, though, because I've studied this opening recently. So, I mean, I think rook g1's the move, I think. But I don't know. So I was like, well, there's one way to find out. Just play it, because I'm aware that I will analyze this game later. If it's not the right moment and I lose the game because of it, then I will likely remember that. But yeah, it turns out that even though it's a rare move, it looks like white scores well in the Lichess database and decently in the master database. This is a move, rook g1. Yeah, so this is a new idea I learned. I mean, we're kind of forecasting that we're going to castle queenside, and that g-pawn is going to be pushed. We're going to dislodge this knight. So that's sort of the idea. So he played c6, which I thought was the main move from what I can remember. g6 is also a move. Yeah, and g4. Because, yeah, that's why I played rook g1. Queen a5. All right, so on queen a5. So queen a5, I've learned to be mindful that it guards the e5 pawn or square in some variations. And, well, here they're pinning the knight, which is protecting my e-pawn. So they're threatening knight takes e4. So I should probably protect that. So I did. Bishop d3. So the engine, let's see what the engine says. Wow, the engine says bishop d2. Okay, well, on bishop d2, you know, that breaks the pin. So I thought they would go queen b6 here, though. And that, you know, attack stuff. Computer says go g5. Okay. Yeah, this pawn looks poisonous because, I mean, everything's protected, right? So when the queen gets in, she's just going to get kicked out with tempo. So that definitely is not a real threat. And so if the knight has to move, it could go to h5, but now I have discoveries, right? Like, could I play that or no? Because I would take there. It says no because d takes e5, queen takes h5, g6. And I guess black's a little better here. Well, they can take there. So, yeah, can I stop that? I guess I can't. So that's why. All right, so I guess they can't go to h5. Okay, well, whatever. On queen a5, I went bishop d3 because it makes sense. I'm guarding the pawn that's attacked. And they took here, and I thought, no problem, they'll take with a knight. And they jumped their knight into c5. I wasn't necessarily worried about this. I mean, if they really want my light square bishop, you know, go for it. You're moving your knight every move. That can't be, you know, worth it. You can't move your knight a million times in the opening and help my queen come to the middle or my pawn guard my center pawn. Like, so, you know, I'll save my bishops, but at some point I prefer tempos. So, okay, g5, of course, and they took here. Now, I was really surprised by this move. I thought it wasn't possible. Notice that there can be some pins down the e-file. So, like, after knight takes... Yeah, I was looking at some stuff here. Now, I could take, not with this knight because that's pinned, but I could take with the bishop, and after takes, I could go queen e2. That's what I was thinking. And, like, if d5, you know, we could play f3. And then I was like, well, why even take first? Why not just play queen e2? Computer likes both of them, really. So I played queen e2. And my opponent, yeah, I was not... Wow, that is a blunder according to the engine. I gotta turn the engine off. Because I suspected that this move was not right during the game. But I gave it maybe a little more credit than I should have. Because, well, my opponent's rated 2294. And the username looked really familiar. I was like, who is this? You know, it might have been somebody I played in a tournament, or it might be a strong player that's doing a road to 3,000. Who knows? But I was like, okay, I think I see what their idea is, because if I take that bishop, they can take here with check. You know, I take, they take back. I don't know what's going on there, but I do know that the knight's protected. Actually, that looks terrible too. If I were to be honest. But hey, why not F3 here, you know? So let's see if that's right. Ooh, it's actually not. Yeah, it turns out I shouldn't have believed them because the engine's giving knight takes F5. But let's see if we can figure out why. I was afraid of this move. But yeah, if I take with a pawn, though, then the pawn's attacking that. And they can go here, that's fine, but then... I mean, I just take the knight back, right? Like this? Okay, like, am I crazy or am I, like, up a piece? The answer is both. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm up a piece. So that one's a piece. I thought F3 wins a piece too. I hope it does. We'll check with the engine. I played F3. Okay, it does. The engine says +5 instead of +7, so I can live with that. I like F3. Let's turn the engine off. So never play F3 is what I teach my students, and then I play it every game. But the truth is, you know, sometimes it's the right move, but I have to teach them not to open this diagonal unless they know what's going on. Okay, anyway, yeah, let's take the material, right? Like I took that. Okay, check. Now, I actually thought this was an interesting decision. Do I want to take with a pawn or a queen? And I decided that pawn was better, and I'll tell you why. If I take with a queen, this bishop can tuck itself there, lined up with the queen. The rook's lined up with my queen. That doesn't seem like a good place for a queen. On the other hand, I've got this pawn. If I take with a pawn, it kind of like strengthens my center a bit. So I thought pawn was better. Let's see what the engine says. Of course the engine says queen. Why wouldn't it? It does want this. I thought here. And then it says bishop f4. Okay. Well, I don't know why it's saying that. But I thought pawn was just fine. And it is just fine. They're actually both kind of equal-ish. So bishop g6. Let's get that engine off. Okay. Yeah, at this point of the game, I was kind of like, okay, what am I doing? Like, I need to get my king safe, like, right away. But I am up a piece. So, did I outplay a 2200? I guess so. Maybe he outplayed himself. This player also had, like, 10 people watching the game. You can see how many people are watching on Lichess. So I was like, wow, am I on TV or, like, what's going on? But I think bishop d2 is a good move. It lines up with the queen. I need to castle. So d5, I actually expected this move. Because, I mean, he's kind of threatening to take and open up on that undefended knight. Also, this point is protected by the bishop. So, yeah, there's good reasons to play d5. But here, I thought I have a nice move, which is knight b3. I can attack the queen. The queen will have to move, and then we go from there. I'm also guarding, well, I'm blocking this. So, like, if queen here, there's no crazy queen takes b2 moves because the knight is actually blocking that. So I think that's probably the best move. Let's see what the engine says. No, it doesn't think it's the best move. Wow. I'm kind of surprised that it's giving, like, e takes d5. I don't have to worry about rook e8 yet, but do we have some threats here? What? Getting sleepy. I guess, you know. Yeah, actually, now that I'm looking at this does make more sense than I thought because that's protected by a knight, they can't even really take back comfortably. So the engine king to b8. I mean, I would... We can't take here because we'll lose our knight. But this would have been a nice thing, you know, when you fork the whole family. But if we lose our knight, we can't do that. So I guess I wouldn't play that move. I would certainly think about queen e5 check or queen g4 check. Or just castles. Yeah, the engine likes castles. Okay, or knight b3. Okay. But knight b3 is a fine move. It's just fine. Okay, same with queen b6 anyway. So I wanted a castle, so I did, and then they took the pawn. But okay, I mean, why can't I just take with a pawn here? That's what I was thinking. I know my pawn is isolated and weak, but I'm up a piece. So that should be some compensation. Like, a lot of compensation. Like, more. Okay. Yeah, and then they played that move. Okay. So here I went queen g4 check. I didn't even think it was the best move. I just thought, let's play it. Because if they block with their rook, they're playing crazy. But you know, I really can't hunt down the king or anything. He can go here, and if I go here, I think he just goes to a8. Oops. You know, he can just hide out there. He's safe there. So that would be fine. But I did check once and then played e5. I thought this is interesting. The engine doesn't like it. Okay, that's fine. I feel like I had some idea with this that I can't remember. Well, I guess I made their bishop better. But really, I was just saving my pawn. Because they're threatening to take, and then take the pawn, right? No, they're not. Oh, but they are going to be able to pressure it. Yeah, I don't know. What did I see here? I don't even know. Okay, but anyway, I pushed it. They played there. Yeah, queen f4. I got to protect the pawn. I'm not going to lose it without a fight. Also, I'm threatening discoveries. You know, check, and then maybe do that. So they move their king. Okay, let's get our other rook into action. Rook e6. Yeah, my opponent played this very quickly. Probably hoping that they could win on time. I did have 3 minutes at this part in the game, but I'm +7. So as long as I can not blunder, but I do blunder coming up, but okay, anyway, knight a4 was something I was looking at for a long time. And I just thought, okay, if they take my bishop, which they did, I'll take with a rook. And if they want to take with a rook, it's not what he did in the game, then I was kind of thinking, oh yeah, take the queen, because that's not what check. So they have to move their queen first. Yeah, and here I thought, you know, let's bring a knight into the game. I don't want that knight sitting on a4. So I attack the rook goes back. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had 2 minutes here. I was trying to make faster moves. I noticed earlier that maybe this could be a threat. Like if I get my queen to guard that square and then push h5. I thought that could be useful. That's why I played h4. Also, I didn't see what black could really do. I kind of want them to trade. Yeah, and this move I wasn't afraid of either. I thought I could take and just play knight e4. You know, the knight may come here. That would be pretty good. But they brought their queen in. Okay, so my knight's under some pressure here. And not only that, if I move my knight away, I get checkmated. So I shouldn't do that. So I didn't do that. I played rook e3, which I thought was forced almost, but there's other moves here apparently. Knight bd2 is the engine move. There's also knight a1. Wow. Okay, I'm not playing knight a1. Okay, unless I absolutely have to. That is not a good knight, okay? Like, that's desperation. I'm not going to play that unless I'm actually desperate. So I played here because I've got this check covered. You know, that's fine. I've got this check covered by this. Well, also that's terrible. Okay, but anyway, I'm hallucinating, getting tired. King here. Now, I actually like their check because getting my king to come here is actually good because now my knight is pinned. And they could try to attack it again. But they went here. Yeah, and I played queen f3. Because I was pinned this way too. But I have to maintain defense of the knight. So I thought queen f3, I have to play it. They brought their rook over. Okay, great time for h5, I thought. Let's go h5. Trading is good for me. I'm up material. So I did this. I'm still guarding the check, so I should be okay guarding that check too. Okay, queen b5. And I went queen e2. So, okay, I feel like I'm a bit coordinated now, and I'm up a knight. So the only issue is that I have 22 seconds left. So they played here. So let's trade queens. Take. King c2. Bring your king up in the ending. King b7. And I push the pawn. Yeah, I don't know if this is right, but I had 6 seconds left. I guess I should go knight d4, according to the engine. Why, though? Pressure there. Push now. Ooh, it kind of prepares that move. Because then if they take, we can take here. And then they won't have rook takes g5 because the knight is protecting it. It's pretty nice. Instead, I went e6 right away, which allows rook takes g5. They took there first. I take, then rook takes g5. Okay, so I went here, and yeah, now I blunder. I took that. But that's what happens when you have seconds on your clock. You panic and you make moves that are not good. Okay, so this is probably a draw now because I get this pawn, but you know, I have barely any time on my clock, so I expected my opponent to press me, although I don't see how I could lose this. I guess the main way is that if you trade rooks in the wrong moment. I think that's the main way because king and pawn endgames are so like precise. Like they're either winning or they're losing or they're a draw. So when you trade rooks, you better be sure. If I get 2 seconds left on my clock, I might trade rooks at the wrong moment. Okay, but this is drawn so far. I'm just waiting. He's trying to do stuff. I'm just waiting. Like, what are you going to do? You want to bring your king up? Go for it. Okay, and here, I wasn't sure if this was a draw or not. But this is what I mean about calculating stuff accurately. I thought if takes, and pawn here. I thought there might be king c4. And on king c4, takes. I thought there might be king c3. I don't think I want to do that. So let's look at it. King c4. Yeah, if I have to play b takes a5 actually, and black's, and it's just a draw. Any other move is losing. Like if here, I go here. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm in zigzag. I can't go anywhere. I have to go here, but yeah, that's not good. Okay, now I'm losing. So I have to take, now I thought, oh, it's my turn here. What on earth do I play here, though? Here? Oh, I see why it's a draw, because they're going to get a rook pawn. So they do win my pawn, but we just hide in the corner, and it's a draw. I didn't see that part of it, but I had seconds left. But basically, I think a good rule of thumb, if you don't have time on your clock, is that don't trade rooks unless you are sure about the result. So I wasn't sure, so I did this. And yeah, that's fine. This is a draw too. So there. Okay, he's pushing pawns. The more pawns we trade, the higher chance it'll be a draw. Okay, so I'll check him. Gotta protect your pawn. So he did. Okay, I went here. Yeah, it's probably just a draw. Yeah, and I took here, and I actually thought I might even be winning this. But it turns out that he'll get the opposition. Like, so, I'll show you the calculation. Rook takes rook, pawn takes check, king a4. That looks like a what's called a trebuchet position. Sort of. Maybe not, actually. Yeah, usually the king is on c4. But I thought in this position he'll be forced away from his pawn. But unfortunately, he can go king b6, and then when I take the pawn... Oh, actually, king b6 would be losing. He would have to go king c6, and when I take the pawn, he can go king b6. With the opposition, that should be a draw. So that is actually, I think, what happens. Yeah. So that move. Yeah, so I don't think I have anything else. This doesn't feel right to me. I guess it is because he could blunder with that move. Now this is winning. That's different. I have the opposition. But he did go here correctly. Yeah, and in the game, I offered a draw and he didn't take it, so I decided I would just mess with him and see if he would blunder. But he's 2200. He's not going to blunder. Yeah, it's just a draw. I mean, basically, I'm moving my king around because what I want to happen is something like this, maybe. Is that still a draw, though? Yeah, it's still a draw. I think it's basically a draw. Yeah, like for example, I think he could mess up here. Like if king c8, for example, I get the opposition. Now it's winning. Notice that it's black's turn here. Can't go anywhere except for this square, and that loses to king c7. So, you know, that's why I move my king around. I'm kind of testing to see if they know the ending or not. Yeah, but here it popped up that it was a threefold repetition, and I just clicked it, so So it was a draw, and I did gain 10 rating points from the game because my opponent was like 300 points plus higher rated. So I'll consider the draw an okay result. But really, I was winning, and I blundered my knight in time pressure. So I do not feel good about that part of the game. But overall, I think I'm pretty happy with my play. The last thing I'll do is just check what the computer says about it. It was a 92 move game, by the way. It's just pretty long. So let's just see if I made any really bad mistakes. It's probably just that blunder. Yeah, and I guess, I think I've heard John Bartholomew say that he has perfectionist issues. I honestly think that maybe that's my problem too. It's like I want to play the absolutely perfect moves in the opening and the middle game, but then I'll have no time on my clock at all for like the ending part of the game where it's most important that I don't blunder. And if I had a little bit of time, I wouldn't blunder. Wow, yeah, the graph just shows like white was completely winning. It says I made one blunder in the game. I'm sure it was when I blundered my knight. Yeah, it is. There's two other mistakes. It didn't like that pawn push there, which I agree with. And it didn't like my rook move here. And I didn't know what to do there. But it's hard to call those mistakes when the resulting position is still +4. So mostly I'm just happy with the game. Except for that one moment. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And well, I'm at 1921, so I've got 79 points to go. So this is Stacia, and I'll see you next time. Bye.